Hi, everyone. We're going to get started with our November edition of Show and Tell. So great to see so many of you back for our monthly meeting. This is our creative download from our global team of just things that are inspiring us. We often use a lot of this stuff further on in our process for our cultural macros, our forecasts, our cultural sentiments, etc. So while it's a really enjoyable meeting for us to also do, it actually is very productive as trend forecasters in what results in the content that we further do down the road. So we're really excited that you're here with us. We are still out of our headquarters in New York City just due to COVID-19. So the team is coming to you today from all over the world. They'll introduce themselves, their name, and what department they work in when they present. Before we jump into today's links, I'm going to let Sarah from our marketing department tell you about some exciting things that are coming up at FS.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everybody. And it's great to have Michael back, who was on paternity leave. So great to have him back at the helm. I wanted to share with you before we get started about our digital trend immersion that is coming up on Thursday, November 19th. I do apologize for the siren you might be hearing in the background, but that's New York for you. So for those of you who are familiar with our trend immersion events, you know that this is your opportunity to really get a look at the information and insight that you need for the upcoming season. So this is where our whole team comes together to really unpack our cultural sentiments and really show you what is important for spring summer 22. So we will be addressing how changing consumer needs will be influencing consumer wants and expectations, the key design strategies that will help you navigate and win in this new normal, and the top trends in materials, color, pattern and graphics, and market-specific product shifts. If you could go to the next slide, Michael. So just some noteworthy features for you to take a look at. We will be having market-specific breakout rooms in this digital version of Trend Immersion. So what this means is after we do kind of an overarching look at the trends, we will be putting you in specific rooms through Zoom so you can hear directly from our market leads the market-specific information that you are looking for. We'll also be holding a community discussion. So after the presentation, we'll come together as a community and speak on your biggest questions for the seasons ahead, answer any questions or needs that you may have. We're also partnering once again with Cosmo International Fragrances to really bring our cultural sentiments to life. And all registrants for Digital Trend Immersion will be eligible to win this votive candle gift box that was custom designed by our team at FS along with the fragrance chemists at Cosmo. So it's going to be a great opportunity for you to come together with fellow members of the creative community and hear from our experts at FS for all the things that you need to know for spring summer 22. So I'll be putting a link in the description in the chat box for you to register. And for those of you who are FS clients, please reach out to your sales support at support@fashionsnoops.com for a special promo code. So again, look for that link in the description box, and we hope that you will join us on November 19th.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, we're always so excited about our trend immersion events each season. And even though it's digital, it'll still be just as inspirational and influential for your season ahead. So we're really excited about that. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to just back down and get our links up for today. We have our team of editors on standby, and I believe today we're going to begin with Chelsea. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chelsea. I am on the youth team here at FS, and I'm coming to you from Brooklyn. So my first link here is for Icy University. So LA-based rapper Saweetie, who's also a USC marketing graduate, she launched her own Icy University about a month ago. And she's offering up 5-minute YouTube videos as a semester of 4 courses. So you have to apply to get into ICE University. So you send in a list of goals, what major you want to be in, and then why you think you'd be a good fit for the university. And then they send you a little digital student ID, which is really cute. So some of the subjects include the sort of parody classes like how to get an 8-figure man, which I mean is also very important. But then there's the more practical classes like how to start your own business, which was the first course that she offered up. So if you go back to the links and click on the course, if we want to watch just the first 30 seconds of her intro to the how to start your own business course. And she said this was in the Bostonomics major. So I think it's really cute. And her little intro is really fun. So if we want to just watch like 30 seconds of it.
Hello, students. Welcome to IC University. I'm Professor IC, and I will be your instructor for this semester, for this year, and for the rest of your life. Now let's get into this material. Hopefully, if you pay attention and ain't back there texting, you will walk away from this semester with some game, some love, and hopefully a little bit more money. Ain't that right, Smooches?
I know that's right.
I know that's right, girl. You're in section Bostonomics, and today we will be learning on how to start your own business. Pay attention.
Chelsea, what's the history of IC University exactly?
So one of her like first hit singles was called, I think it was called Icy. And she just calls herself an icy girl. Like everything she wears is expensive and everything she does is top notch. So she calls herself like the icy girl. So I think it's like, if you want to be an icy girl like her, you go to IC University. But I thought it was so cute. And I mean, this one actually had some really good tips on starting your own business. I haven't seen the other ones. I think there's only one other course up right now, but she's going to release the next one. So I thought it was cute. And then next we have Eat Off Beat. So this is a meal box service that I recently came across via Instagram targeted ads because they're so good at what they do. And it's a seasonal menu food box that focuses on global flavors from places like Senegal, Iran, Syria, and Venezuela, to name a few. And they have a team of chefs, which you just saw, that specialize in the dishes from their home countries, many of which are immigrants and some of who are refugees living in New York City. It's a little more expensive than like the Hello Freshes of the world, but I really wanted to give it a try and experience flavors that I haven't before. And it was so good. So you can see here the meal DNA. This is the fall box. This is the one that I got. And some of the highlights were the Sri Lankan butternut squash curry, very good. And then they had a Lebanese shish tawuk, which are those chicken skewers, and then a Syrian kibba, which are little beef croquettes. But I got this whole box. I also got to add a few things on for a little extra fee. And they also have full vegan boxes as well. And they only need 24 hours notice before they can send out your delivery. So if you're in the New York City area, I would definitely check it out. I think it's really great. And a cool way to offer like authentic flavors to people. So I really loved it.
Have you had it yet?
Yeah, I actually had some of the butternut squash for lunch today. It's in my fridge right now. It's really, really good.
Looks amazing.
And then my last one is another food related pick, which is unsurprising. But this is an app called Too Good To Go. So this is an app, I believe it started in the UK, and it's a way to address enormous amounts of food waste, especially in cities. So the concept is that the brand partners with local businesses and restaurants to offer up a select number of grab bags of unsold food for the day so that you can purchase these and then you pick them up within a certain time frame. So for example, I live in Brooklyn. There's a coffee shop in my neighborhood that participates. So I've gotten a few bags from them. So we would order the food on the app a few hours before, and they range from like $4 to $6. So it's not expensive at all. And then you're given a window. So for this coffee shop, it's from 2 to 3 p.m. to pick it up. And then normally what's inside that one that I've gotten, there was like 4 bagels, a loaf of bread, and then like 3 to 4 pastries. And then sometimes there's even like overnight oats in it. So anything they just didn't sell in the day that they'll put in these bags that you can pick up. But tons of restaurants like La Durée is on there. The Real Cafe in Soho also participates in this. So you can get like pizza or produce or even cheese. My roommate and I went to get Marie's cheese grab bag, which if you're from New York, you know that they have great cheese selection. But I love this idea. It's fairly affordable. Like I said, like $4 to $6 per bag. And it's helping to address at least a small portion of food waste. And right now they're in certain US cities, and then they're in the UK and France as well. So I think it's really cool.
Wow, now we're all hungry. Thanks.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Should have put you at the end of the list. Thanks, Chelsea. All right, Carrera, you're next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrera. I'm a culture editor at Fashion Snoops, currently based in Brooklyn. Before I have to explain these because they're so Today I'll be talking about TikTok, and I've been on TikTok now, I realize, for a year, and I feel like I have so much information in my head about this platform that I need to share. It's honestly a burden, and I mean, people at FS know that I talk about this all the time. But I think that there's something really interesting happening on this platform, particularly in fashion expression and outfits and looks, especially if we think about like the history of fashion online, maybe starting with blogs and all the people that came out of the blogosphere and are now prominent fashion people. And then what happened when we got onto Instagram and how that became like such a close-knit community and everything was on one platform. And now what's happening with TikTok. And I think the main thing to consider about how TikTok is changing fashion is that now you have the ability to express yourself, obviously physically and visually. You can have your outfit, but you have this added layer of music that really ties the outfit in together. And then second, the added layer of editing and camera angles to really create, I mean, as a testament to the creativity of the people on this platform, they're really creating like fashion films of themselves. So we can click on the first one. This one is a testament to, yeah, again, like how music can change an outfit. And we'll click on it now. Michael, when you click on it again, and it should show up larger. Click on the video.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Sorry. And then you have the X at the top on the sound.
Oh, my little star sweeper, I'll sweep the stardust for you. La la loo, la la loo, little song, la la loo.
So
The next one?
no, you'll have to exit out of it. But yeah, this one to me is just so interesting how this woman is expressing her style through clothing and through the filter that makes it look old. If you guys are interested in dark academia, we actually have some reports on fashion snoops, but it's really interesting to see this happen. So the next one that I'm going to share, and again, yeah, I have to explain all these because things get so strange and self-referential online, but this one is another example of how music is affecting dress. And these women, this is a woman and her mother, and they're inspired by famous women in songs.
Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away. Roxanne, you don't have to wear that dress tonight. Little Sabrina, you're a fine girl,
Amazing.
So it's interesting, like the connection between music and fashion and inspiration and like self-identity construction. The next one I'm going to show is another example of how people are sharing their looks. So this one, the sound is borrowed from Home Alone. There's a scene where they're all saying, "Give this to Kevin," and they're all like passing on this object to give to Kevin, call it Macaulay Culkin's character. But I just love the way they're using editing to show like essentially a whole capsule collection. And I'll let the video speak now.
Kevin, give this to Kevin.
Give this to Kevin. Give this to Kevin. Give this to Kevin. Kevin.
Give this to Kevin. Give this to Kevin.
Give this to Kevin. Give this to Kevin.
Give this to Kevin.
Give this to Kevin. Here you go, Kevin.
So again, another really inventive way that you wouldn't be able to do on Instagram, and you're able to show many more options of clothing and outfits. So the next one is a little bit of a change. This one's all about how fandom and cosplay are really popping off on TikTok. People are really inspired by their favorite characters. And in this one, we'll see this man who is showing you, I think actually it's the one labeled 3 that I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. So this man is inspired by different characters from SpongeBob for these high fashion looks.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
I have no soul. I don't pay you to breathe.
You can't say nothing about Texas.
So this is a trend that's really prevalent across all of TikTok. People will dress up as their favorite Harry Potter characters. They'll imagine what they would look like if they were Pokemon, different types of Pokemon or Pokemon gym leaders. So I think we're seeing a shift like on TikTok of people dressing a lot more in line with their favorite characters. It's a lot more costumey and it's a lot more driven by inspiration and pop culture. So I love to see it. It's been really interesting. The fourth one I'm going to share is this new trend where people select from different aesthetics. So there's all these different aesthetics among Gen Z that are really expressing and coming to the fore on TikTok. This is this new angle that kids are taking where they try out all of the different aesthetics and they just film themselves trying them out. And usually the caption is like trying out different aesthetics until I can pick one. And it'll be goth, it'll be Y2K, it'll be soft boy or pastel punk. It'll be all these different ones and they'll try them on. And I think it's an interesting shift of like playing with identity. So it's not anymore that, oh, I'm a goth and I wear goth and I would never be caught dead in pink. It's like, oh, well, one day I'm going to be a goth and the next day I'm going to be a skater girl and the next day I'm going to be cottagecore. And it's really, really speaking to the fluidity of identity and aesthetics on this platform. So I'll let the sound go, but I think you get the gist of it from. And so for anyone in the youth market, I would definitely pay attention to the different aesthetics that she points to at first and make sure that maybe those are all spoken to in your assortment. And then the last one is probably the strangest of all of them. This woman is pairing her outfits to different font types. So she has a Helvetica outfit, a Comic Sans, a Wingdings outfit, and then the sound you're hearing are clips from what Obi-Wan Kenobi says in Star Wars. So really meshing in all of her nerdy interests into one and then combining it with fashion.
Job. So uncivilized. Oh, I don't think so. I have the high ground! Wait a minute. How did this happen? We're smarter than this. Another happy landing. Oh no, I'm not brave enough for politics. My allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
That's great.
So yeah, it's really opening up this whole realm of expression and inspiration. If anybody, I've been debating doing like a full report on this. Maybe let me know in the chat if you think that this is something you guys are interested in and you're interested in knowing more about fashion on TikTok. My last link today is more on TikTok, but it's about the first kind of piece of hardware that TikTok is releasing, and it's all around education. So it's this lamp that connects with tutors and also the educational side of TikTok. I know that they've launched it in China and in India, this specific, I think they call it EduTalk, and it's a lamp that retails for $119 and is meant to help kids study, which seems like, pair this incredibly distracting device with a purpose of helping kids study seems counterintuitive, but it's an example of a big tech company entering education and then also creating gadgets. So those are all my links for today.
Thank you, Carrera. Super inspirational, really fun. Erza, you're up next.
Hi everyone. My name is Erza and I'm a culture director as well, or culture editor as well. So my first link is a pretty good segue to Carrera's share, but it's not TikTok and fashion, but TikTok and film. So the Brooklyn Museum has joined forces with Netflix to present this new virtual exhibition. And whenever it loads here, I'll let you know what to do. So okay, so you drag down that circle, you drag it down, and then you can like enter this virtual museum. So basically it's a look into the costumes from The Queen's Gambit and The Crown. It's two shows on Netflix, and it explores the role that fashion has in female leads. It's really neat because the rendering is all of the Brooklyn Museum. There is sound, I don't know if you can hear it, but it has the music of the shows as well as like echoing footsteps that you would hear if you were in an actual real museum. You know, as more of these experiences go online, we want these virtual things to feel as real as possible. So if you click on any of the outfits, you can see videos of how the outfits look in the actual show. This one is a chess piece from like the BC era. It gives you history of that as well. You could see details of the outfits, why they wanted the actor to be put in this, what it means, you know. And for this one, it was interesting because it was saying like this is how she was first seen in the show, and then at the end of the movie, they put her in a similar colored dress, so it kind of like comes full circle. But it is a very, very good show. I just finished it last night, so I definitely recommend The Queen's Gambit. I haven't watched The Crown yet, but I just love this whole idea and this collaboration.
It's great. Yeah, The Crown is for sure one of my favorite shows. The new season drops this weekend, and the new season is all in like the late 70s up to 1990. So it's like the Princess Diana era. And they got an amazing actress to play her when she was young. So I'm really excited for that.
Awesome. So another one is it's another collaboration. And this one's a pretty genius one. It's Reebok and Spotify. And in their latest collection, they have these 3 shoes that were inspired by the creative energy and sounds of 3 cities, Atlanta, Houston, and New York. So you can find QR codes that take you directly to the playlist that like transport you into the like the sounds of all these electric cities. And it really brings them to life, as well as the look of the actual shoes. So this one, for example, the Atlanta design, it was inspired by their famous lemon pepper wing. The Houston one, it's known for its like candy metallic car culture. And then New York City, the inspiration was by its speed, and like the dark colors represent, you know, the city that never sleeps, and it's surrounded by these like sunset, sunrise hues. So it's really, really genius. The playlists are on the bottom here of their website, but I just love this collaboration and the use of a QR code in a really creative way.
It's great.
So this one is called Memories. It's an online space to upload basically like your digital memoir. It captures a story you want to tell about yourself for future generations to see, whether that's in a visual timeline of photos or even a recorded message in like a modern day time capsule. And it just got me thinking how we have all these parts of ourselves on all different types of platforms and social medias, but this is a different type of creation. It's not like a thirst trap for likes or like extremely edited photos. It's just a curation of how you want to be remembered, what was important to you, and like the messages that you want to leave behind. And you can even have other people collaborate and like write messages about you. And I thought that was beautiful because I do see messages on, you know, deceased people's Facebooks, you know, on the year of their anniversary, death anniversary, people will write on there. But to just have a place where it all lives and your great grandkids can go and look and see like, you know, who was this person. I thought this was a pretty brilliant way to capture it all.
This is great. And we had a really big meeting yesterday internally planning out our future seasons. And the concept of time has come up continually, specifically time blur. The last, 7-8 months has kind of been a blur for a lot of people. And we've been missing out on a lot of these kinds of memories just because of our distance from each other. So this is super apropos for right now, I think.
Definitely. And then my last one is called Kids for Black Lives. And it's a coloring book that was actually created by our very own FS members. So I really wanted to share because I'm proud of them. So Justin, who's our director of growth, and Kari, a former culture editor, they created this children's illustration book. And it has photos of real images of children that were protesting during BLM with positive quotes in it. And it just aims to empower children about the strength of peaceful protesting and anti-racism. They even developed their own custom marble crayons with all skin colors to represent unity. And donating to the Kickstarter actually gives you the book, the stickers, the signs, and there's a whole donation portion of it where they're sending supplies to elementary schools in Brooklyn. I just thought this was really sweet.
Yeah, it's so good. Really exciting. There's Justin.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Erza. Great links. Mallory, you are up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mallory. I'm a beauty editor here at FS. And a lot of my links today are kind of centered around Native Americans. You know, at the FS Beauty Department, we've talked a lot about Indigenous wisdom and have covered a lot of Native American owned beauty brands recently. And just with all the politics and political, updates, I've been seeing a lot about the role of Native Americans. And so I just have a kind of an assortment today. So this one is really great. I love this. I saw this on one of my favorite costumers' Instagrams. Actually, if you want to click on the Adopt a Native American Elder official in the caption, Michael.
Oh yeah, sure.
Sorry. So this is a great rug sale to benefit elders on the Navajo Nation Reserve. So they typically have these in-person rug sales, which, help not only keep tradition alive, but sustain their communities. And this year with COVID, they're unable to do that in person. So they're having this virtual rug sale through this organization, Adopt a Native American Elder. 100% of the proceeds go to them. And actually this virtual rug show is happening tomorrow at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So definitely a great cause to support. You're really helping out communities. You're helping keep, these amazing craft traditions alive. And I just think this is just so sweet, and the detail and the history and culture that goes into this is amazing. I linked also the website itself if you want to check it out after this. So the next one is Len Nessifer, which if you've never heard of him, he's a bit of a personality on Instagram and Twitter. He's a former Department of Energy. You don't need to go scrolling on his Instagram because he's very controversial, but this is just one of the interesting Instagrams he posted recently about the efforts of Native Americans within this election and getting out the vote and organizing their communities. So he's really interesting because on one hand, he's like this brilliant man. He's so cerebral. He has a PhD. He teaches at universities. He's founded his own outdoor clothing brand. But he also is this master of memes. That's like his great zeal in life, and he talks a lot about it. So a lot of his Instagram is just, hilarious pop culture comedy memes. So I think it really shows how, this idea of memes as like this new culture language is both like legitimized by the fact that he's like this incredibly brilliant man. So he's really funny. He has a lot of great insight into Native American history and also culture and issues. So I highly suggest you give him a follow on Instagram and Twitter. And I also linked his Native Outdoors brand there if you want to check that out. My next link is very apropos for Veterans Day today. So for the first time, Native American veterans are being given their own acknowledgement in DC. This new Veterans Memorial that's dedicated to Native American veterans of American wars is being opened up at the National Museum of the Native American. I love how the design incorporates this like meandering path through nature. It's really beautiful. We talk a lot at FS about, incorporating this beautiful natural influence and kind of living with nature and the peaceful harmony of nature. So I think this is really appropriate, and it's just great for, I love this image in particular. It's just so beautiful, like a river. So I think this is a really great thing that's opening today. And, of course on Veterans Day. And then there was this op-ed that I thought was also very interesting about, thinking a lot about Indigenous wisdom. We talk a lot about how we can really learn a lot from these societies and cultures that have lived for, thousands and thousands of years. And I thought this was just an interesting insight that worth the article to just lend 10 minutes to read about how it's time to have a Native American lead the Department of the Interior, which makes sense, in terms of climate change and preserving, wide open spaces. I thought this had a lot of merit to it. So I think this is a great article to read. And then the last one was just a shout out to the fact that 6 Native Americans have been voted to Congress in this election, which is wonderful for representation. You know, it's not often that we see, you know, we talk a lot about other minorities, but Native Americans aren't always brought up. I think there was a controversial thing on CNN where they had Native Americans listed as just other instead of just being their own category. So I think it's high time that we gave credit where credit's due and start really championing and celebrating Native Americans.
Great. Thank you, Mallory. All just wonderfully said. And yes, happy Veterans Day to everyone on the call who may be a vet or has immediate family who is a vet as well. All right, I think I am up next. I am Michael, Director of Menswear. So my first link, I think it's been about 3 years, I shared a video about this woman, but there's a new book out and I thought it merited just kind of sharing again. Very, very interesting, called Doll Houses of Death. It's not as macabre as it may sound, but there's an amazing woman in the 1940s. Her name was Frances Glessner Lee. She's kind of considered the mother of forensic science. And at the time, she basically went through and crafted, I think, approximately 20 dollhouse dioramas that were based on true crime scenes and autopsies that she had visited. And she basically used them at Harvard, where she created the Department of, let's see, it was called the Nutshell Studies of Unexplained Death Department. And that was in 1945. And it was one of the first instances of actually trying to learn about forensic science. So people would travel from all over the country to meet with her. They were prosecutors, detectives, you know, everyone in the legal law field, and they would study all of these various dioramas to kind of learn what had happened in these real crimes. And what's so interesting about her is that she was actually a Chicago socialite. She married and divorced a really wealthy lawyer, and then she inherited the family fortune at the age of 52. So she used her inheritance to endow the Harvard Department of Legal Medicine at that time. Each of these dollhouses cost approximately $4,500 to create, which of course in the 1940s was a lot of money. And then what I really loved most, just in keeping with her kind of socialite status, is that after week-long seminars in the Nutshell Studies of Unexplained Death, all of these people that traveled to study these were then treated to a banquet at the Ritz-Carlton with her. So just super quirky. I wish that someone would kind of make like a Netflix series just about her, but just the attention to detail, there she is making one, but super, super cool. There is a new book out that actually features all of the dioramas, so you can see them up close and personal, but really, really cool. And I know we're always obsessed with miniatures here. There it is, 18 Tiny Deaths. So take a look at that. My next link is very interesting. We have a lot of people here that are very interested in NASA and space. So these kinds of links always come up at our meetings, but there's a guy who has created a scent that smells like space, apparently. His name is Steve Pierce. He has this new company called Omega Ingredients. And he basically worked with NASA back in the late aughts, 2008. And so he's tried to replicate the smell of the Mir space station. I thought this was really funny. They say that the scent can be described as a smell similar to ozone, hot metal, and fried steak with hints of raspberries and rum. So there's a Kickstarter page that you can click over to learn more about it. There's a video, but very, very interesting indeed that apparently when you're in space, because of the moon and everything smells like gunmetal and gunpowder. So it kind of makes sense. My next link is about a new hotel in Miami that is coming January of 2021. So this is Pharrell's first foray into the hospitality field. So he has teamed up with David Grutman and they've created the Good Time Hotel. There's not a lot of photos out yet, but what I really love about it is that it's not just a hotel, but it's also, they have recording studios, they have 45,000 square feet of retail space, eateries, you know, outdoor work area. So it's kind of meant to be a space for everyone to kind of come. And it is called the Good Time. And so Pharrell explains that it's good vibes, good energy, good karma, good food, good music, good environment, good vibration. And he says, come there one way, leave vibrating. We call it spiritual Wi-Fi. So I really love that. And he actually explains that the interior and the exterior is similar to being in a Wes Anderson film. So there's one photo other than the exterior that I just showed you. There's the exterior. There's one photo of, I guess, one of the eateries that's going to come up here. You can kind of get that Wes Anderson vibe. But I really loved the description. This is called, this area is called Strawberry Moon. And, you know, there's all these cocktails with ingredients infused in them, ingredients that I don't even, never heard of, but I'm sure a beauty team has. Things like butterfly pea flower and yuzu and etc. But they use really retro glassware. And they say that I think when you see all the spaces come together, there's something that feels as if it could be from the 19th century mixed with mid-century Dolce Vita, mixed with a dose of 1980s optimism, which is so Miami. So anyway, I'll be really looking forward to seeing more about what that hotel and that space will look like, because I love Wes Anderson aesthetic anyway. And then my other travel and leisure link today is about the new Hutton Brickyards, which is just a train ride away from New York City. So really excited to try this out. But we've talked a lot about kind of repurposing industrial spaces. We had a visionary a few years ago called Rebuild, which this reminded me of. But it's a really beautiful retreat. They took these old brickyards that have been closed down since the 1970s, and they've created this beautiful new kind of hotel around it. It has 31 guest cabins and suites. They all have water views of the Hudson. Really great. It's kind of a beautiful mixture of bucolic, country, rural with a little bit of industrial. I thought some of the furniture pieces were great. I love this curve of the nightstand. You can read the article and read more about it, what they're going to be doing there. There's a lot of really cool things. It also is kind of an industrial campground, if you will. So they're going to have, they are going to have archery range, croquet lawn, fire pits, bicycles, hikes, guided kayak experiences, running, outdoor yoga, snowshoeing, the list goes on and on. But what I really love the most is the facade of the old brickyards. I think it's really beautiful. Here's some of it. And here's the view of the Hudson. So really, really great. Definitely check it out if you're interested in taking a train ride up to see it. And then my final link of the day is something that came out a few days ago. The video itself is actually from last year, but this really touched me. This video is a ballerina. She, I want to tell you her name. She's a Spanish dancer, and her name was Marta Gonzalez. And she basically had been confined to a wheelchair. She's since passed away. This video was created. And she was a ballet dancer that at one point in the 60s and the 70s had moved from Valencia, and she immigrated to Cuba. She was in Swan Lake in 1965 in New York City Ballet. But she had Alzheimer's in the last years of her life. And for those of you that have done research before, you know that sometimes playing nostalgic bits of music from the patient's previous, earlier in their life, you know, the Alzheimer's seems to kind of melt away. So this video just came out this week, but it was made a year ago of her when they put Swan Lake on her through headphones. And I just want you to see how all of a sudden the graceness of you know, her ballet dance comes back to her. It's really, really beautiful. I'm just going to play about 1.5 minutes of it.
You have a decision to make. Good choice.
So hopefully you can click on the link and watch the rest of it. But it just was stunning to me how graceful that her moves just kind of came back to her when she was listening to that. And that was actual footage of her from 1965 in the New York City Ballet performing it. So those are my links for today. I'm going to pass it on to Rachel.
So hard to follow that. I watched that video yesterday and it made me teary-eyed, the same kind of effect today. It's really beautiful. And again, we were speaking, we had kind of our visionary kickoff yesterday, and the concept of sound was something that kept coming up as well. And I know Erza shared with the Spotify links, but just the concept of sound, how it brings you back into a specific moment of time, which again, we're speaking to. So love that video. I'm Rachel, I'm pattern and graphics editor at Fashion Snoops. So I wanted to bring in a little bit of some art news. Judy Chicago, we may have known her best for Dinner Party, which honored a bunch of 39 women. That's where you may have known her from, but.
Sorry, Rachel.
That's okay. She got her start actually in the 1960s using pyrotechnics, which was something that I didn't even really know of. So she wanted to kind of create a new world. She really wanted to highlight women and make the world a little bit more dreamy, a little bit more ethereal, a little bit more soft. So in the 60s and 70s, she created these pieces using fireworks and clouds of colored smoke. So really, taking this adventure into the AR market, especially during these confines, really makes sense. So this is her first adventure into the AR virtual art world. So basically, she wanted to bring individuals together with this new direction. It's called the Rainbow AR. So it's an interactive performance piece, and it still has the effect of releasing these plumes of smoke that change color. So the work will invite the audiences, to interact with the smoke. You can walk through it, dance in it, kind of invade your own surroundings. So if you've been looking out the same few windows for the past 8 months, it can kind of give you a new perspective. And again, she wants to inspire hope, use this as a visual metaphor to suggest the possibility of positive change. So we've seen a lot of AR art. Some of it has been truly magnificent. Some of it's been a little gimmicky, but I think that this is one of the few pieces that I'm really looking forward to, and I can't wait to play around with on my phone. And this is the next one is an Instagram that I really loved. It's called Hood Mid-Century Modern. So this is an Instagram account created by Gerald Cooper. So he wanted to make connections between modern architecture and Black culture. He highlights some of the unique designs all over the Americas. So mid-century buildings in Black neighborhoods across America, whether it's iconic structures like the Compton City Hall, designed in the mid-1970s, or structures that we just see in our everyday walk, everyday life. So he really wanted to explore the meaning behind the neighborhoods throughout America. Nobody knows who had originally settled there, what the functions of the neighborhoods were meant for, why some of the people left, why people came. So he wants to explore, how do we protect things that we don't really know anything about? So he's encouraging people to get more involved in their neighborhood, go on walks, and explore the pieces that are around them. So the project becomes a place to study one's surroundings, becomes a study of one's place, not in the world, but in your own neighborhood. So I'm sure you're like me as well. There are so many places within my own neighborhood that I walk by. I don't know the story behind it, but I like it, especially in New York. There are so many buildings that it's great once you get the history and the story behind the building. It makes you reconnect with your surroundings in a completely different way. So love this project.
I love this. I have to tell you, this is probably one of my favorite links for today. And as someone that just always loves observing things around me, you're so right that whether we live in a suburb or whether we live in a big city, I think we oftentimes just take for granted things that maybe have just always been there and the story behind them. For example, this church. So I loved this account.
Good. I'm glad you liked it. I have the habit of doing that as well when I'm walking around New York City and I see a building. I'll either look it up on Street Easy to see if it's available to live in or kind of the history behind it. But I think it's encouraging, and a lot of us are doing road trips or we're staying in the same neighborhood. So it's good to see what's going on around you and get that story.
Yeah, it's always cool to see what, like a certain block that maybe we work or live on, what it looked like 100 years ago, 80 years ago. Sometimes it looks so much the same. Sometimes you don't even recognize it, especially in New York City.
Especially, I used to live on the same street that my grandparents met on in like the early 1900s, and it looked way different. I didn't want to tell that to my grandfather, but it changed.
Great.
So my next link is called 19 Chairs. So this project was kind of born out of boredom from the beginning of the pandemic. It was curated by two brothers, two creatives, and their name are Tom and Will Butterfield, which are incredible just as names. So basically, I've been seeing a lot of chair graphics, and Chelsea can attest to this too, because it came up in one of the youth stories. I've been seeing so much of these chair graphics around, and I mean, let's face it, it's something that we're all sitting in right now. I think we're getting a little bit, we're looking around at like what's in our house. So interiors are kind of becoming a little bit more important, I think, than they used to be in the past. So these chairs, they gave them the chair concept to 19 different creatives, artists, designers around the world, and they wanted to get their take on it. So have them create an entirely new concept. So whether it's a drawing, whether the chair is functional, whether it's completely not functional, it's their take on it. So we can see a lot of our favorite artists and designers create their creations within this page. Even Nicole McLaughlin, we know her a lot. She kind of took off with the shoes, but you can see her chair there. It's kind of like a puffer chair. It has magazines, crossword puzzles inside of it. But I love this concept. I think it's really cool. I mean, it's great seeing all these initiatives to keep people creative, keep the mind going, and explore maybe a new direction, people that normally don't work with furniture. These chairs are right now on public in London at the Coal Drops Yard, which is a shopping complex public space. And then they will be auctioned off in December, and the proceeds are going to raising money for AIDS UK and racial justice. So good all around. And then I wanted to share this link because I loved it. I loved Tetris growing up. It gave me a lot of anxiety to get the pieces right, but this was a whole new take on it. And instead of having that kind of anxious anxiety effect that Tetris normally has on everyone, this one, it has a really cool rendered effect, which made me think of our Nourish story. And it softens the pieces, and instead of that kind of stressful effect, it makes you just want to hug it. So the anxiety melts away, and I just wanted to share.
Wow, Rachel. Wow, wow, wow. Amazing.
Hopefully it had the same effect on everyone, so enjoy.
Tetris remains the best, most iconic game of all time.
That's true.
Thank you, Rachel. Great links.
Thank you, Michael. Nice to have you back.
All right, Melissa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa. I'm VP and Director of Women's at FS, and I'm based out of LA. Today, the first thing that I'd like to share with you, I'm sure some of you have seen this. It's from artist Hayat Nazar, and we're all familiar with the tragic explosion that happened in Beirut back in August. And what she's done is she's created this sculpture from debris. She was one of the people that was cleaning up, and she thought that she would try to heal the city through art. She spent weeks just gathering up rubble, glass, twisted metal, discarded belongings, and also she somehow was able to access the homes of people that were destroyed and like felt all of that hardship. And she asked those people if they would give something that she could put into the sculpture. So I thought that that was kind of beautiful. She said that she was surprised that people were so forthcoming. They were giving really personal mementos, things from their childhood, things that had been passed down from grandparents. So it depicts, this woman with kind of this flowing hair made of wire. She's raising Lebanon's flag. You could just go to her profile. There's a couple other shots in there. And it also includes a clock that's set at the time of which the explosion occurred. She's known for her political works. Unfortunately, most of them are destroyed by the authorities for being politically charged. She didn't name this particular piece, but she did tagline it with a lot of women empowerment. So we'll see what happens, but I thought it was a beautiful way to, channel a tragedy and help heal through art.
Yeah, Melissa, I actually heard her speak at the 92nd Street Y, I believe 2 or 3 years ago.
Wow.
And super inspirational. And she's such a smart woman and very brave, actually. If you hear about things that she's gone through and what she goes up against in her work, kind of what you alluded to, it's really amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting in her background that I think she has a marketing degree or something, and
Right.
she was working corporate. And, she just was compelled and she was like, I need to do art, and left the corporate world and has been doing this ever since.
Amazing.
The next two are both designers that I wanted to spotlight. If you're familiar with Festival Hier, which is a really well-known festival in the south of France, it happens every year. You could just kind of scroll through this one. So this is Tom van der Boort. He is a Belgian designer, and he's the winner of this year's Festival d'Hier's prize. This is his men's collection, and I thought that it was really interesting. He called it 7 Ways to Be TVDB, and he was really widely praised by all of the judges, one in which was Jonathan Anderson. And what everyone was saying about his artwork is that it's a new type of form, it's a new type of shape, a new commitment to silhouette, and it's uncompromising. So I thought it was very original. It's very heavily, obviously, embroidered, embellished. There's a lot of recycled things that he incorporated, such as climbing ropes, sequins, mesh, plastic, plexi tube weaving that he incorporated. And I thought that it was a really new, fresh take. There was something else about it that struck me, because it's not something that's immediately commercial, obviously, but I think there's beauty to that, as well as, the handmade aspects and the risks that he's taking in his work. And then the next one that I wanted to share, Emma Bruchy, she's a French designer. She was also a winner of the French Chanel Miette d'Art Prize. And up here, you could click on the one that's the earrings. I wanted to kind of look at that because I thought that was really beautiful and interesting. It kind of looks like the Native American dream catchers. And I thought that was really striking. Most of her collection, you could click off now and then look at some other pieces. It's menswear. And I thought that it was just really beautiful. The techniques that she's using, it has this raw aesthetic to it, like with the open work fabrics that we see throughout here. So these are two designers I think we should definitely keep our eyes out for moving forward.
And actually the men's team is working on our seasonal narratives for spring summer 22 right now, and our narrative for our cultural sentiment Nourish features her work on our mood board, and she's an influence, specifically this one here. So I'm so happy you shared this. Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks.
All right, and last but not least, we're going to end today's meeting with some links from William.
Hey everyone, I'm William. I'm based in Brooklyn. I'm the activewear editor here at Fashion Snoops. I'll try and keep it short for those who have a hard stop at 1. My first link is a resource that was put together by Virgil Abloh and the Off-White team, I presume, which is a resource for young entrepreneurs to kind of get started with their own brand and like get a sort of like index of like where to start. So how to name your brand, how to obtain a trademark, all these common questions that could be kind of a barrier for some. And I think the goal is to kind of share maybe the difficulties that he's been through when he was like launching the brand. So I think it's an amazing resource. I like the kind of open source aspect to it. It's very focused on apparel, how to use like creative software to create prints, how to make your actual screen prints, how to find blanks, how to find like apparel, how to shoot a lookbook as well. So kind of like the first steps into making a brand come to life. So I thought that was interesting. It's the first kind of initiative in this mentorship program, and they said that there will be more of this content coming forward. So yeah, I thought that was interesting to share with.
Yeah, it's really great, and we're finding that these newer generations of creative directors and designers, they're not as, I can't think of a word better than insecure as maybe previous generations, and they really like to democratize kind of their intelligence and enlightenment of the industry, and this is the perfect example of that.
Yeah, make it more accessible.
Right.
My second link is a photographer that kind of caught my eye on Instagram. He's half photographer, half digital artist, but he does these really fun and like playful photographies, compositions with random objects and often animals or characters. And he's based in Spain. I think it kind of made me think of some of the visionary stories we worked on in the past, like Goodness and Playhouse. And yeah, this just really caught my eye. Very colorful, very simple too. There's this sort of like consistency with the colored background and like the simple product shot. But yeah, really cool artist to keep in mind for inspiration or yeah, just for the pleasure of your eyes. It's just a good pause from the actual Instagram feed sometimes.
And everyone needs a baguette skateboard.
The third one is an ad that was sponsored to me from Balenciaga. It's like a 5-second video that's super interesting. And for me, it was like kind of making me think, is this the future of e-commerce as we're all like confined in our homes and been like exploring the merge of digital and physical in the past 6 months. I just think this is a good kind of example of how augmented reality can be paired with hardware for us to offer a new shopping experience behind the 2D screen. So it's just what I find is interesting. It's like, I don't think nothing is concrete yet, but these 10 seconds of the video just help project yourself in this new shopping capability. And my last link is a passion project I've been working on here in Brooklyn. So I initiated this running club for some of the members on the team you guys already know. I just wanted to share with our attendees as well, if some of you are based in Brooklyn. So this came from the fact that I guess it's a personal reaction to how I managed or how COVID has impacted my life. And I think I got really back into running. And basically, I think a lot of people are sharing this feeling of wanting to get back together and get back together in a safe way and through a lens of something that they all share. There's been this outdoor exercise boom in the past 6 months that's been pretty evident with all the gyms being closed, especially in America. And yeah, I've launched this 2 months ago, and I've been having really, really great feedback. The Instagram page aims at basically providing a moment of self-reflection and kind of a pause on Instagram, but also showcasing the different types of events that will cater in the future. And also right now I'm starting to, I'm seeing this growth where I had like 4 people come to the first run, and last night we had like almost 16 people. So it was kind of just a good statement to confirm that that's what people are looking for, getting back together, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and trying like having an activity to clear their mind and take care of their body. So yeah, super fun project that I'm working on. Super happy with how it's going so far. If anyone is based in Brooklyn, you are more than welcome to join. We have 2 runs a week in the Bushwick area and Williamsburg area, so feel free to reach out on Instagram.
Yeah, we're so proud of you, William. It's an awesome project. Get on your Instagram right now and hit the follow button. And I assume they can DM you if they want some more info, or of course just show up at one of the runs, yeah?
For sure, yeah. All the events are posted regularly throughout the week, Tuesdays and Saturdays. And any other questions, you can feel free to reach out. I'm pretty accessible. Thank you, Michael.
Awesome. Thank you, William. Really great project. I think that is all we have for you today. Hopefully you feel very inspired for the week ahead. We will do this again, same place, same time, Wednesday, December 2nd. And that will be our last one before the holidays. I'm sure we'll have some really amazing things to share at that time. And again, if you're interested in our Trend Immersion event, our digital Trend Immersion event, it's coming up next Thursday. Make sure that you check that out on the website and you can get more information on that. Thanks so much for joining us today for Show and Tell. We hope you're inspired and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.